All around the country, this image is used as a depiction to explain equality and equity. But here's the flawed logic of equity. The tall gentleman has to give up his crate so that the short person can stand on the crate. Here's a better idea. Instead of watching the game for free from the fence, how about purchasing a ticket to get in the game and sit in the bleachers along with the rest of the crowd?
Give it to him, Pastor John. So this video we're going to talk about today comes from Raleigh, Durham area, which is north of where I am down here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, from Wake County. And Pastor John, Chukwu, I hope I said Pastor John's name's right. He went to a Wake County school board meeting recently and talked about the fallacy of equity. Let's listen.
All around the country, this image is used as a depiction to explain equality and equity.
That's so true. I mean, I've used that picture in an article that I wrote, and it's so deceiving. It is so deceiving. See, they want you to believe that equity is so compassionate. It's so loving. This man gave up his crate in order to elevate the person of someone else. But as Pastor John's about to say, why don't everyone be elevated? Why does a tall guy have to suffer for the other guy to be elevated? That's not biblical suffering. That's communism or socialism, however you want to call it.
But here's the flawed logic of equity. The tall gentleman has to give up his crate so that the short person can stand on the crate. Here's a better idea. Instead of watching the game for free from the fence, how about purchasing a ticket to get in the game and sit in the bleachers along with the rest of the crowd? The Office of Equity started in 2013, and this year marks the 10-year anniversary of this pet project. Since 2014, $8.7 million and counting has been spent on race baiting, race hustling, reducing standards, CRT, grooming, and normalizing transgenderism instead of appropriately labeling it as gender dysphoria.
Preach, Pastor. That's exactly what they've been doing. All this money's been spent on these pet projects at these school districts because these school districts are getting funded from these lobbyists, getting funded by from these huge transgender organizations, from these huge DEI organizations. Anything that has to do with DEI at a company and at a school and at a college, for the most part, they're really only emphasizing DEI from a progressive standpoint. They're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion from a progressive standpoint. They don't want diversity, equity, and inclusion for everybody. They don't want more black conservatives. They don't want more Christians on campus. They don't want more Jewish people on campus. No, it's all about the progressive ideologies. If you fit that intersectionality box, that's what they're looking for when they talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. It's really talking about the LGBTQ community.
And where are the measurable outcomes from the Equity Office? This is what we do know. Nearly 50% of our graduating class in 2021 failed math and reading standards, while we tout that we have a 91% graduation rate. All students have a 6 out of 10 chance to pass state exams in grades 3 through 8. Black students have a 4 out of 10 chance to pass all state exams in grades 3 through 8. This is the hard truth that no one will tell you. Equity will not fix the dire marriage rate in the black community. 80% of black homes are led by a single parent.
80%. That number has gone up. I remember seeing it was 72, 73%. 80% of black homes are led by a single parent. Don't you know that the foundation of a society is the family because God established it that way? And the foundation of the family is marriage between a man and a woman. That's the way God designed it. That's the way that God founded it. And every society that has been civil has been founded based upon those truths. But school districts, the liberal, the Marxists, the progressives want to destroy that. They want to dismantle that hierarchy and replace it with something built in a communist image.
And statistics show that this has a negative impact on children mentally, socially, and academically. Going woke won't bring daddy home.
Wow, going woke won't bring daddy home.
The answer is not diversity, equity, and inclusion. The answer is faith, family, morality, and education void of special interests. Equity is the transmission of a disease called communism. Equity lowers the bar, overlooks merit, and puts the focus on skin tone only. Equity is legalized theft because it takes from the productive person and gives to the unproductive person.
Sounds like redistribution of wealth, doesn't it?
In the early 2000s, there was a 2 to 3 year wait list to be a Wake County teacher. Today, we're approximately 400 teachers short. The general feedback that I hear from teachers is that the focus is on equity, 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 more equity, and more equity. Instead of focusing on the equity, the teachers don't have the ability to even discipline the students and correct their violent behaviors. I believe that we need to take the money from the equity office and put it towards repairing West Cary.
Preach, Pastor John. That is so true. All this emphasis on equity, equity, equity. And people can't even define equity. I mean, Bernie Sanders, when pressed to decide whether it's better for equality or equity, he was hard pressed to say equity. As a matter of fact, he chose equality.
A lot of people hear equity and they hear equality. That like it's the same word, and it's not the same word in the same concept. So how would you differentiate between equity and equality?
Well, equality, we talk about, I don't know what the answer to that is. Come to think of it, equality is equality of opportunity. All right? We live in a society, we want all people to have whatever color your skin is.
Equity, I think, is more guarantee of outcome, is it not?
I think so.
Okay. So which side do you come down on?
Equality.
Equality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And that's what I've been talking about. That's what Pastor John is talking about. We want equality of opportunity. Equity is not fairness. No, it's not. It's a false pipe dream. It's only fair for the people that are receiving the benefits from it. It's not fair for the people that have been victimized by this stuff. Equity is socialism on steroids, and they're pumping this stuff into our school districts, pumping this stuff into corporations, pumping this stuff into a financial institution with ESG, all in the name of equity. And all it does is hurt and harm us as Americans, and especially as Black people. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness.